Hi, I know I haven't posted in a while, but I've been playing through the Shadow of the ERDTREE DLC. Spoilers for that, by the way. If you haven't gotten to the final boss, do not watch this. I'm not going to spoil who it is. I'm not going to spoil who the final boss is, but if you've gotten there, I'm going to critique the final boss. I will not spoil anything about it or even just their name. You will have to figure that shit out on your own. That being said, I will spoil this boss fight a lot because I'm going to be critiquing them. There will be like nothing because this video is just out of a whim. I'm moving into a new house. So if you hear an echo, that's just the new house. I'm also going to pick up my microphone so I can make this easier on myself. Okay, so spoiler out of the way. So if you have not fought the final boss, who I'm not going to spoil who it is unless you've already seen it, you have 5 seconds. Five, four, three, two, one. Okay. For the rest of you that are still here, Promise Consort Radahn is a phenomenal fight. I think it is one of the best fights designed in Elden Ring. Let me adjust my character real quick. I think it is one of the best fights designed. I want you to be clear. I want to be clear with you. I'm sorry for my lack of a body, but I want to be clear with you. This fight is fucking bullshit, but it's also good. How do I explain this? Promise Consort Radahn is a good fight and a bad fight at the exact same time, as in, it's just kind of bullshit for some reason. Look, I've been trying to fight Radahn for the longest time. I am level 224, or like 200, I think I'm actually 230 something. Either way, even with no defensive skills, I've been trying to learn this fight and raging my fucking heart out because just how much hits you and how little breathing room you get compared to even Bale, which is I'm gonna be honest with you, is my favorite fight of all time. You cannot at me. Bale is very fun. Anyway, but nonetheless, this fight is still good. Because yes, you get hit by a lot, but there are a few aspects of the fight that I think are amazing, such as the story of how uh, Radon and Merida are kind of related. Um, and just all that stuff. Here's the thing, I do not like this fight very much. Okay, so if you couldn't tell from my cringeworthy shit, I'm going to be explaining now why I have critiques on this fight. Sorry, I'm adjusting everything live right now. I'm not gonna edit this shit yet until I get an actually good editing software. Sorry for the people who actually want that. Anyway, my problem, as you could already tell, is with the hitboxes, but also how the boss functions. My least favorite part about Promise Consort Radahn, or as I'm just gonna refer to him now, Consort Radahn, is Phase 2. Phase 1, for me, is just a skill issue. I'm not gonna bring up a lot of me just knowing a lot more about Monster Hunter and its combos and shit, because that doesn't apply to Radahn or Consort Radahn in the slightest. I'm still gonna die to him a lot nonetheless. But I know quite a bit on how to dodge certain moves and like telegraphs and shit. He has like almost nothing. Like, yeah, there's some stuff that he has that for telegraphing in phase one, but in phase two, you kind of just have to take a wild guess. Like, that's not a bad thing. There's some bosses that actually use this to their advantage, such as Radon, or not Radon, Radagon, who I think is pretty damn good. I don't think he's awful, but I think he's pretty damn good. For example, whenever Radagon, sorry, I just fucked that up immediately. Whenever Radagon, um, goes into the air, he's probably gonna do the 1, 2, and 3, but the shockwave could get you, which Yeah, that's kind of bullshit, sure, but you kind of have to expect it. With Radon, instead of, or with, I'm getting sidetracked. Give me a minute. I can't, sorry. Anyway, with Radagon, a lot of the fight is dodge based. So you'd think, okay, I don't need any defenses at all, because I'll just be dodging 99% of the fight. Not really. With Radagon, you have to learn a momentum with that fight. As a lot of my friends have said it, including some of the cooler peeps who ended up telling me how this fight actually isn't that bad, you're just having a major skill issue. Honestly, they were right. But with Radagon, it's like there's a rhythm to it. You kind of have to like put a metronome on in your head whenever he does a certain move. Like, oh, he's gonna do his 1, 2, 3 attack where he does the quick little strikes. Okay, let me do the 1, 2, and 3 so I can dodge at that. With Promise Consort Radon, also known as Consort Radon, I cannot find a rhythm for that motherfucker. I don't think he even has one. Um, I don't even want to do the displeasure of having to compare him to some of the worst boss fights I've ever done, but I'm gonna do it. The Scattered Erdtree Avatar, which in my opinion is one of the worst designed boss fights in a Souls-like game. There's worse, but I just with Consort Radon, you kind of have like this 50-50 chance on if he's going to do something. At least with Scattertree Avatar, you can tell that he's about to do his move at the beginning, and then he'll just like continue on in that. With Radon, he does his beginning move, and then he does whatever the fuck he wants, which is not a bad thing. Like, I'm kind of contraring myself a lot, and I'm going to do that in this video because I haven't beaten him. Whenever I do eventually beat Promise Consort Radon, I might make a video being like, hey, here's some of the things I missed, etc., etc. But from what I'm seeing, this is not a very well thought out boss. Which, don't get me wrong, this boss fight was thought out, but I just don't think his second phase was. And I'm going all over the place. I don't have a script for this. I probably should have written down one. But sorry, I'm getting sidetracked again. In phase 2, whenever he attacks, he gets these pillars of light. Those pillars of light feel less like Radagon and more like its own thing, which is that's what pisses me off. I do not like those pillars of light because they hit you and 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 hit you, and you're just like, what in the fuck am I meant to do about that? So he swings, the things come down, he swings again, the things come down, and then it just keeps going until I can't fucking dodge anymore, and he kills me. And do not get me started on that fucking explosion. I do not like when bosses have random ass explosions that cover half of the field. And this motherfucker already has one, and then some. There's a reason why Scattered Tree Avatar is like one of my least favorite fucking or like my least favorite designed boss fight because it was not designed. This motherfucker was put into a meat grinder and then someone said or into a fucking blender and then someone said, "Hey, here you go. Let's see what happens." But like I don't know. I don't want to compare Radon to this fight that doesn't feel like Radon. So I guess I'll compare to make a better comparison. I'll make the normal Radon or the star whatever Radon or the star Radon and the consort Radon. I'll separate them. They only have one move in common, but but my main thing on why I like normal Radon or Star Scourge Radon over Consort Radon is that at least Star Scourge gives you a chance to think. Like, yeah, Radon's whole thing is that he just keeps attacking and attacking and attacking and attacking. He is the most powerful demigod after all, so you would think after fighting Melania that he would at least have like a moment to breathe. This motherfucker doesn't breathe. He inhales. Like midway through his attacks, you don't get any breathing room. This motherfucker breathed on all day. Like he he could take out all the oxygen around your face from how much he's breathing. Like how much breathing room he has, because you just need to be unreasonably aggressive, which for a game that never prepares you for that, that's not very fun. Even Finger Maiden gave you a chance. In Finger Maiden, um Finger Maiden was like one of the harder boss fights in my opinion. Let me check what the name was again, because I literally just fought it. Mitrier, Mother of Fingers, at least she gave you a chance to think. With Consort Radahn, he just kind of says, fuck that, I'm not gonna give you a chance to think. The only thing I can see with him, like, giving you a chance to run, or, like, just to heal or anything, is whenever you, or whenever he does, his big, like, I'm gonna run towards you kind of move. Um, or whenever he's just walking around you, I just don't like that very much. Or I just don't like that that's the only chance. Because at least with, like, some of my favorite fights in the game, like Bale, uh, hell, Radagon, I don't know, Malekith, they at least give you a chance to breathe. You know what I mean? Even Divine Beast, which was, in my opinion, one of the harder but more reasonable boss fights. Even that gave you a little chance to breathe. With Promise Consort Radahn, you kind of have to you have to gamble basically, which is for, again, for some bosses that's completely a normal thing. But like for Consort Radahn, this just doesn't feel good. This is a, by the way, I just want to mention, this is a more ranty uh thing. I probably should have mentioned that at the beginning. But anyway. And it does not help that he has that random ass move that makes no sense for him having it, which is the blood slash that explodes. That makes zero sense for him to have that. Literally zero fucking sense. I mean, maybe you could argue that, like, oh, well, Radahn is the most powerful demigod, it shouldn't matter anyway. This motherfucker didn't learn anything like that. He learned gravity magic. He didn't learn bleed magic. Like, what the hell? I guess technically, at the what I would really count for that is America, or not America. Is it America? I'm stupid. I'm sorry. I'm not very smart. But for the main thing, for the main, enemy. Oh, Miquella, sorry. Fuck. At least for, I guess you could make an argument for like Miquella. And Miquella's whole gimmick is basically, hey, um, I possessed Moog, and now Moog can do fire magic and shit. But even before that, Moog was able to do it. But I guess it's just a commonly learned magic. I don't know. Look, what I'm trying to say is that what they need to do for Promise Consort Radahn is a little bit of downtime, aka some breathing room, a little bit better hitboxes, because when I'm getting hit by, like, literal tubes, because this motherfucker doesn't use swords, he uses tubes. Like, he is the inflatable, flurly arm man, I can't think of the word. But he's the wacky inflatable tube man uh of the Elden Ring world, which sometimes is good. Okay, like, some of you are gonna disagree with me in the comments, but sometimes that's good. I mean, Morgoth's fight was basically, oh, what you gonna do? Are you gonna try and hit me? Am I gonna try and hit you? Or like with Moog in first phase and second phase, he's just kind of like, oh, I'm gonna start doing a bunch of moves. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? But at least they had a fucking decent boss fight. Like, I'm not gonna say that this is the worst boss fight they've ever designed, because Godskin Duo. Um, but like, I really cannot argue for Promise Consort Radahn. But anyway, sorry. This video was a little bit ranty, um, and I just wanted to be honest with everybody for Shadow of the ERDTREE. I don't like this fight very much. Nonetheless, though, I think Promise Consort Radahn has the potential to be one of the best designed bosses if they just gave you a little bit of downtime. Hell, even Elden Beast in Radagon gave you some fucking time to breathe, even if it was very, very little. Sorry for the noises in the background. I'm fucking around. Um, but at least they gave you a little bit of time to react. So I guess that's kind of my problem. I don't know though. Um, I want to hear what everybody else has to think about Promise Consort Radahn and their critiques of it. My critiques are fucking jambled and jumbled. So if you have a better way of explaining yourself on why Consort Radahn isn't amazing, but also isn't, like awful, I would love to hear it. Because I think if you think that Promise Consort Radahn wasn't at least decent, I don't know, man. Anyway, long story short, I'm gonna try and post more, but it'll just be like random stream highlights. Or it'll be me playing some Elden Ring, like some grinding streams and shit. Um, sorry for ranting so much. Uh, I just I've been stuck on this boss for a little bit. My brain cannot wrap around how to fight him, and it's tough. It's like with Radagon the first time you fight him. It's tough, but it's doable. Like I can see the doable. It's shrouded in a lot of darkness, but I can fucking see it. I'm gonna get it. Anyway, um, I hope everybody who's watched this video and watched all the way through has an amazing day. I will try and post less ranty shit. I'm sorry for posting two ranty videos. And one specifically about Pokemon. I don't think Promise Consort Radahn is the worst boss fight, but I think it needs some work. Anyway, sorry for ranting in your ear. I hope your day goes well, and if it's not going well, I hope the rest of it's okay at least. All right, have a good day.